Jorma Vuoksenmaa, after our last episode, I'm sure that there are many NHL followers that are willing to know which teams they actually can and should bet on. So, which are the best teams to bet?
Definitely LA Kings. They are kind of prototype or exactly the profile of a team which is a good investment. Again, I underline that the market changes its mood very fastly. We make that video on Sunday the 10th of November, and if you watch this much later, it might be the case that the market have found LA Kings or some new information has changed the situation that Kings are no longer a good bet. But at the moment, I like Kings a lot. To start with, they were very unlucky last year. They were not that bad as they showed. And now we have a new good coach, and the good thing is that their second goalie, Campbell, has been good this season. He has improved. And quite often it happens with the goaltender tandems that then the second goalie improves. The first goalie, like Jonathan Quick in LA Kings, gets kind of less pressure, and Quick can be much better than he was last year, or to be honest, start of this season. Then the things go slightly better, a slightly longer period of time. That might sound speculative, but we can afford to be wrong because LA Kings offers so good odds prices, return for risk all the time. You know, if you bet teams with very short prices, you need to be correct much more often than if you bet teams getting 1.5 goal handicaps or then really big moneyline prices. LA Kings is even coached by a good man, Todd McClellan. He was not a success with Edmonton Oilers, but there can be reasons behind. You know, occasionally there are chemistries between team and coach, and he's not a bad coach. He's experienced, and I expect Kings to improve a lot, and the market has not, at least yet, found LA Kings. Their bad luck has stayed for that season. Their numbers are surprisingly good. You know, expected goals and all those things. So, as you hear, I'm pretty excited of LA Kings, and I'm, I watch people into their eyes because I bet myself what I say. So if Kings doesn't give returns, I have lost my money, and if you are disagree with me, you can start betting against LA Kings. Choice is yours. I have told what I believe. One more point about Kings is that on those Wayne Gretzky days, the betting market loved Kings because those days Hockey Line, which is pretty small market, was dictated and affected about the Las Vegas money. And because there were lots of bettors from California, Kings traded always on pretty low prices. But that's not the case any longer. Vegas is not that much the odds source of the word. So long story, but I like Kings.
So LA Kings have won 5 games so far. New Jersey Devils have won 4 games so far, and you want to bet them as well?
Yeah, I know how much people kind of, smile and almost laugh of my style of betting, but it has been pretty good 40 years, and I have been with underdogs most of my life. New Jersey Devils is one of those cyclical teams which, get bad, then they get good drafts and make the organization better, and the main idea in NHL's betting is that cycliness. Teams go up, they reach the salary restrictions and start getting worse, and on the other hand the bad teams get the drafts, and I believe that they even kind of psychologically get more hungry. So New Jersey Devils is one of those prime examples of this cyclistness, how cyclist this is the world, and they have been really unlucky start of the season. That might be a couple of week old information, but a couple of weeks ago their goaltender save percentage was under 90 and their power play percentage was 6. And I saw a couple of games and they looked weak and ugly in front of their own goal, which is in my book a really bad thing. But to put it short, New Jersey Devils can't be that bad as they have shown so far. Things should be normalized. As I said, those teams which are under the rebuilding process, they don't change overnight. That process might be going now, this part of the season, and then you get really good prices and 1.5 goal handicaps with decent prices on New Jersey Devils. I'll ride with them.
And the third best team you want to bet is Florida Panthers.
Yes, they have really good offensive expected goals numbers. It's strange they have not scored more. They have deserved more. They were my ID team. We've won many of those. I have lost money in the start of the season, but they were my ID team. They should return to their level. And one of the reasons why I liked Florida and why I have lost money at the start of the season is that I counted on Sergei Bobrovsky, the goaltender, to make the change. He has not been good, but occasionally it takes some time. Then the defense and defensive men and goaltender kind of learn to trust each other and communicate and all that. So I think I have pretty good reasons to believe that defense and Bobrovsky will be better. And then Sasha Barkov is one of, I don't count too much on the individual players, but I like good individual players which are not that idolized by the betting market. And Sasha Barkov is not the only one of that style of players in Panthers. So even if I go to the details, I find extra reasons to start betting Panthers now, which are very popular in the world's betting market at the moment, as are Kings and Devils, I repeat.
So the top 3 teams, LA Kings, New Jersey Devils and Florida Panthers. Then almost as good, you mentioned are the teams from the desert, Dallas Stars and Arizona.
Yeah, Arizona will definitely stay as at least decent investment for some of the time. With Dallas, I'm not that sure. I'll go to Dallas later. But, Arizona had pretty bad injury luck last year. They are improving team, again with that kind of cyclical team going up. Their goaltenders, they are two good goaltenders there. and Arizona is not very popular team. So we should be not that good bet as Kings, Devils and Panthers, but at least decent bet for some time. Dallas, I'm not sure, because they might get pretty popular soon. But at again 10th of November, they are bit underestimated. The veterans and the both players, they have been slightly disappointing. But my fellow countrymen Miro Heiskanen and Roope Hintz, they looked brilliant last year. Those games or clips of the games I have seen this season, they have looked as good. And I speculate that those older guns will soon start cooperating well with these young players, and then there is a great potential in Dallas Stars, good coached team, but be very kind of critical with the prices, because if Dallas improves, as I believe, their prices might go very short, faster than with Kings, Devils, Florida or Arizona, because people understand the potential of Dallas. Those three best guesses of good investments week after week will not get very popular in any circumstances.
How about Arizona then?
Well, Arizona, I think they will stay as kind of, not that popular team.
Okay. So, are there any other teams you would like to discuss when we talk about the betting? Maybe there are a few other teams like Toronto, Tampa Bay as well.
Yeah, you took good point once again. Yeah. I know that many of our friends watching this might ask, what is that old man again talking about by telling that certain teams which have underachieved are good bets. So what about those two good teams which have been disappointed at the start of the season, namely Toronto Maple Leafs and Tampa Bay Lightning? There again, I know they will improve. I know they are really good teams. It was really strange they were eliminated last year so early out of a Stanley Cup. But they might have been even last year the best two teams of the league, believe me or not. Toronto has so much class. They might have the best coach in the league. They have strong organization. Toronto is kind of home of ice hockey. Whenever things go right, their home support is enormous. So I'm pretty Toronto positive when we talk about Stanley Cup or the class of the team. But when I mention Toronto is the home of ice hockey, that means that in that betting market area, namely the greater Toronto, where hockey betting is popular, those people bet Toronto. And Toronto is now a popular, trendy, original six team, which is good as well. We want to find good teams which are not bet or bad teams which are decently bet. So we are pretty neutral with teams which are good and pretty popular on the market like Toronto. But they might be so classy that I at least cannot frequently bet against them. My best advice is to have a look on the schedule if they have had important games around the particular game you are thinking about. You should be careful. If they are rested, play the best goaltender, and if they are motivated, they are a really hard team to beat. Same applies with Tampa Bay Lightning. They were really impressive on the first 82 games last year, and out of sudden they flopped against Jarmo Kekäläinen's Columbus Blue Jacket on the playoffs. I think, I don't know what happened, but they were pretty unlucky as well, but there's class in the team. I watched their games now yesterday and on Friday when they played in Stockholm against Buffalo Sabres, and now I go to pretty speculative areas. But you know, that trip to Stockholm might have been the kind of psychological booster when the team really got together and found that, you know, killer instinct. And they have brilliant players. Victor Hedman is one of the best defensive players in history, and we allowed a lot of shots and gave out expected goals at the start of the season. But now I don't say that that is kind of an evidence of the team, because it might be the case that, you know, the good teams don't start the seasons with full cylinders at the start of the season always. So same with Tampa. Now, until we are very short priced, I wouldn't dare to bet against them.
All right, you mentioned Buffalo as well.
Yeah, that's a good idea. They are a young, improving team. They played very well against Tampa on Stockholm. They might even have won the games even if they lost both. And they could keep improving. The coach, which I kind of doubted due to his limited experience in America, he might be a good coach. So I'm slightly bullish with Buffalo.
And then two more teams you mentioned that are something you want to see more of are Anaheim and Philadelphia.
Yeah, Philadelphia I definitely want to see more, even if I might be slightly positive with them. Their problem was goaltending, and I expected the goaltending to be better this season, which has not been the case. But as I mentioned with Los Angeles, that's psychological. They might improve fast, and then Philadelphia is okay. They have actually played pretty well, and their expected goals is more than the goals they have scored. So the day when they get the goaltenders to be good, they are better. And Anaheim, again, I admit, everybody has some kind of fixed beliefs, and I have 40 years been bit against Anaheim, and now they might be once worth their support in the betting market. New coach, John Gibson, the goalie, is now playing on his class. He's pretty good, one of the best in the game when things are in good shape, and he's healthy. That might have been, I don't know if he's so bad occasionally, but he should be better. So positive info, not that much overbet as most of the years, so slightly positive on Anaheim, but again I warn you, the market might take them back to their darlings pretty soon when they start winning.